Good morning. I would like to call to order the meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Today is October 17th, 2023. The time is 9:30 a.m. I'd like to call up Pastor Anastasi for the invocation, and also we'd like to have Commissioner Pendergrass would like to have a moment of silence. So,
please rise.
Rise.
I could have a moment of silence this morning for all the victims in Israel and the victims of war across the world right now. And also I'd like to recognize BPAC O'Rourke. BPAC O'Rourke recently lost his life. He was a hero here at Lee County. He worked dedicatedly for many years for Lee County with economic development office and within the community and Rising Council. So a moment of silence before the vacation. Thank you.
Hey, Pastor, thank you.
What an honor and privilege it is to pray and put God first in this wonderful meeting and all these wonderful people that are here to celebrate. We thank you, Lord, for your presence here. You said, seek you first and seek the kingdom first, and everything else will be added unto us. So we thank you, Lord, for your presence here as you move in a mighty way in the hearts of every person that's here, Lord, every believer that's here. We thank you, Father, for the board, that you bless them and honor them with wisdom and understanding. And Father, that your glory will flow through this region and be a testimony of how great a God you are in this season. With all the darkness that's surrounding us, Lord, we know that you're the light, and light does destroy the works of darkness in this hour. We thank you, Father, for keeping your hand on Israel. We thank you, Father, for your presence being there, the apple of your eye. We thank you, Lord, that you are God over them as you are God over us and over this region. And so we commit ourselves to you today. We'll let you have your way, because your way is always the best way. And we thank you for your presence. In Jesus' name we pray. Everybody said amen.
Amen. Amen. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Please be seated. We will now begin with the ceremonial presentations. At this time, I would like to recognize Commissioner Sandelli.
Well, good morning. Welcome, everyone. This will be Case Manager Month. If there's anybody here participating, I think we've got some case managers from around the area. If so, you're welcome to come up. I'll read the resolution, and then we'll take a picture, and then we'd love to have somebody speak a few words. So anybody here for this? Here we go. Wow. Overwhelming. Huh? Either way. Either way.
Yeah, please.
So I'll read the resolution, and then we'll give that to you, and then we'll take a picture and we'll go from there.
This is the resolution.
Yeah.
The resolution, yeah.
Okay, can I just separate a little bit so I can read this and stuff like this? Okay. Well, this is a little overwhelming, but we're thankful to all of you.
You have to yell, you have to yell, Ray.
Huh?
All right, please.
Well, good morning. Let me take just a moment to read the resolution. This is from the Board of County Commissioners. Whereas navigating service systems as healthcare, housing, and behavioral health can be overwhelming for Lee County individuals and family. And whereas case managers fill essential roles in the collaborative process to assess, plan, implement, coordinate, monitor, and evaluate options and services to meet clients' health and human services needs. And whereas last year, Hurricane Ian impacted the Lee County community, revealing many challenges, obstacles for human service providers and Lee County residents. Whereas each year, countless hours are spent by case managers across all government and nonprofit agencies in Lee County, focusing on quality of care, continuing of services, and cost effectiveness. Whereas through a holistic approach, using evidence-based practices, case managers throughout the country work to validate client experiences aimed for a sustainable outcome. And whereas it is the goal of case managers to assist individuals in reaching their optimal level of wellness and functional capability through advocacy, communication, and resource management. And whereas case managers have been recognized for their dedication and compassion each year since October '99 during National Case Management Week. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Lee County, Florida proclaims that October 2023 shall be known as Case Manager Month in Lee County, and urges all our citizens to join us in honoring and the dedicated men and women who serve as case managers, assisting residents to connect to much-needed resources provided by the Network of Human Services. This is duly executed the 17th day of October 2023 by the Board of County Commissioners and our Chairman, Brian Hammond. Thank you very much and congratulations. Excuse me.
Who would like to take this?
Somebody can take that.
Hold in the very front.
Yeah, go to that front for the picture.
Take your picture from up here.
Ah, she rises. Hey.
I need you all to move in. I need you to be at the corners there. So make another row. In there, JT. Keep moving in.
Keep squishing.
Large crowd, keep moving in.
That's right. That's right. Everybody in the dugout here. Come on. We close? All right. Look your best smile. There we go.
And 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And one more.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Would one representative like to go to the podium and say a few words? Not here. Go to the podium. Go to the podium. Stuff like this. And, you know, if somebody would like to say a few words, the mic is hot. And so, welcome to hear from you.
That's your resolution.
Huh? No. Okay.
That resolution's for you guys, though.
Yeah, the resolution.
Yeah, y'all keep the resolution.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we will have the third quarter length of service awards. I would like to recognize County Manager Dave Harner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask Angela Pruitt, Director of HR, Human Resources, to come up and present the third quarter length of service awards.
We go down for hands.
Yep.
Good morning and welcome to our Quarter 3 Longevity Awards that will be presented by Victoria Abus from Human Resources and your very own County Manager, Dave Harner. Employees that are here today represent a large group of employees who collectively equal 660 years of service in this group of folks. They're not all here today, but just to kind of put it into perspective. So for you employees that are here to be recognized, when I call your name, please step forward, receive your coin, greet the commissioners and the assistant county managers, and then remain at the side in order to take a group photo at the end. So first up, with 5 years of service, David Leopold from Utilities. And next up is Jose Manrique from Public Safety. Going on to 10 years of service, Jason Coleman, Human and Veteran Services. Alex Fuster from Transit. Stephen Manhertz from Transit. Representing 20 years of service, Connie Buchanan from Sports Development. Terry Daniels from Utilities. Now for 30 years of service, Michael Foley from Utilities. Mindy Simon, Library. We'd like to congratulate all these employees and thank you for your service to Lee County. And come on over for that group photo.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. That concludes the presentations for this morning. Let's pause and give everyone a chance to exit the chambers. That's I did too. It was like a big crowd, and so I think they brought their family.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. All right, at this time, let's resume the meeting. At this time, we will take up the recap. We have one item to be deferred. C27 will be pulled for consideration at a future meeting. Do I have a motion to defer the item?
Move item.
No, second. Okay. So I have a motion by Commissioner Pendergrass and a second by Commissioner Sendelli. Would anyone like to speak in public comment? I see no public comment. So back to the board. Any discussion? Any objections? No objections. The motion carries unanimously.
Chairman, if I could be recognized.
Yes, Commissioner Pendergrass, you're recognized.
Yeah, I had one commissioner item on the agenda for later today, but I'd like to, if I could, at the discretion of the chairman, ask for a change of that. I'm going to ask to have that item deferred to a future meeting. At this time, I will make a ask for the chairman to appoint a special meeting on October 24th at 9:30 a.m. here in the chambers regarding my commissioner item. Then that would be a resolution to bring forward the Board of County Commission oppose any future legislation pertaining to elected county administrator, manager, mayor, and direct chairman to present the resolutions at the upcoming legislative meeting. We initially had it scheduled, and sorry for the late notice, but we usually don't do that. But based upon the delegation meetings October 30th, we couldn't schedule we didn't have another meeting scheduled before that. That gave us no opportunity to speak our mind to the delegation. Members of the delegation that I spoke to said they thought that would be a great idea to hear from us, since it would relate to us in case it came up. Due to recent actions of the state recently, dropping some surprises on the community, I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to discuss this and to bring it forward that we oppose. We've talked about it before. We have had many years of charter commissions go through this item and deny it. Just recently, our charter commission, made up of 15 people from the community, denied this, and that we do not change our form of government to elected county mayor, manager, administrator. So I'd like to make a motion then for the chairman, or ask for the chairman to schedule a special meeting on the 24th at 9:30.
So moved.
Thank you. And I asked for that reason because our current chairman, who's not here, he's in London, England right now, representing Lee County, working hard for us, but asked for, we have more members here. Now, I would have to ask the county attorney, my ask originally for today to have this brought forward, can you respond about the administrative code based upon that we could do that today, based upon the members here without any objection, correct?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you're recognized, County Attorney.
The administrative code are a set of regulations adopted by the Board of County Commissioners that govern your conduct as well as the conduct of staff. Staff is bound by those regulations unless the board acts differently. The board has the authority to adhere to them or go in a different direction, as long as no other board member raises a point of order, and that motion would then be seconded and carried. So if there were no objections to your intended course of action, Commissioner, your request today would not violate the administrative code nor the administrative regulations.
I just want to clarify that to make sure we all understand that we can do that as a board. We are in quorum. It'll be set today, and we could, without any objection, take that action today. But it's about respect to our colleagues. I'd like to have them here present. I think it's time that we get everybody out of the closet. It's for no pun intended, to people to come out of the shadows that's asking for this, because when I talk to our delegation and leadership, that's not something they're looking at doing, but they're being asked by somebody else to do this. I think we need to have a clear message from the Board of County Commissioners that we support or do not support this action. That's why I think it's appropriate to have the meeting on the 24th, so everybody can be present. We can discuss it then.
Okay. So at this time, do I need to ask for that?
Mr. Chairman, as the sitting chairman, you have the inherent authority to call for a special meeting. If you would like, I believe there was a motion made to set that special meeting. That is an acceptable manner of setting the meeting as well. You would just require a second and then an affirmative vote.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
So that motion is approved unanimously.
Mr. Chairman, we just need public comment on that.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, is there anyone who would like to speak public comment on the matter? We have one, okay.
Thank you, sir.
If I could clarify, the public comment is only related to the setting of the date for the public meeting related to the resolution for this item. But you can come forward, Dr. Joe. How you doing?
No, I just think it's proper to have everybody here, and I also agree with the sentiment, because honestly, what's the purpose of having you here if we're going to be electing a county manager? Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this time, we will begin the consent agenda.
Got a vote?
Oh, we have vote.
You actually,
Oh, we can vote. My bad. All right. So we have any objections? I see no objections, so the motion moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. At this time, we will begin the consent agenda. Commissioner Pendergrass, do you have any items to pull for discussion?
None.
Okay, Commissioner Sandelli, do you have any items to pull for discussion? No. Okay. Seeing none, we will go to public comment on the consent agenda items. Anyone would like to make public comment on the consent agenda? Yes, we have one. Okay. This time, I would like to call Joe Schottenmiller. Schottenmiller? This time, come on up.
I noticed that on the agenda that there was some properties that it could be possibly sold, and that the county has, and then you also have the Bob James Center that could be, there's a lot of buildings there that could be utilized for added housing. You had the Ruth Cooper Center there at one time, years back in the 90s. I remember going and having AA meetings there, taking a group there years ago. There's a lot of possibilities for the temporary, but I'm talking, we need, you know, the permanent build, like the efficiencies where the people only getting $800 a month. So any grant monies would, as I said, be repaid in time. We're looking for that. We're looking for ways to make money, so I approached the city on the building that the police are leaving. That would make an excellent youth hostel for people coming on Greyhound, people doing, working the labor pool on the corner that are homeless could pay, and then the funding go into a fund and also to pay back. So any consideration, and I've got my phone number here. I appreciate the call, and so with the other advocates, you know. We need to work together because it's getting cold out there, and we need things. Even the woods, putting some kind of water and electric purchasing temporarily so people are safe, where they have a place to go. The parks are not the answer. And then they get moved at 3 o'clock in the morning and stagger all over the place. So we need to all work together. I thank you for your time. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Schottenmiller, for your comments. Does anyone else want to speak on the items on the consent agenda 1 through 39? Okay, we will close public comment. Is there a motion to approve the balance of the items?
Move on.
Commissioner, okay, Commissioner Pendergrass moves the item. We have a second from Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion? Any objections? No objections. The motion carries unanimously. That concludes the consent agenda. At this time, we will now convene as the Board of Port Commissioners. Mr. County Attorney, please introduce the item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item number 1 is sitting as the Board of Port Commissioners. I believe your Executive Director, Mr. Siegel, is here for a substantive discussion, but I believe the matter is to allow for certain parking charges at his discretion during the upcoming season, and I apologize. I notice it's not your Executive Director.
Good morning. For the record, Stephen Hennigan, Deputy Executive Director. Item 1 requests the board authorize the Executive Director to set seasonal flat rate parking fees for overflow parking lots at Southwest Florida International Airport. The demand for seasonal parking at Southwest Florida International Airport has been regularly exceeding our capacity, and with the continued growth at RSW, we expect this to continue. The airport has paved lots available on airport property, and our plan would be to utilize those as needed throughout the season.
At this time, does anyone have any questions?
Question?
Yes, sir.
Steve, so the funds will be, the excess funds will be used for the future rebuilding of the parking garages, correct?
It would, we're looking to be cost neutral, so there is some cost to the airport to use buses for the hourly rates, so we're trying to have a break even with that.
How are rates compared to the other parts of the country, or at least Florida, for the airports? 'Cause I remember in our workshop, we talked about that a few months ago.
Right, so the seasonal rate, we're looking at a weekly rate. You know, on average, we've done the analysis of how long somebody normally would park in either our garage or our parking lots, and come in a little bit below them, because what we want to do is entice long-term parkers out of our primary lots to increase the capacity there. So it's a little bit different product than we've run long ago. I understand that there was a similar product, but this is to bleed as much off as early as possible to get some last minute open space.
But we're still going to be a little bit cheaper than, say, if somebody's trying to decide to fly out of Miami or Fort Lauderdale, they will choose, I mean,
Yes.
hopefully they'll see their parking still a little bit cheaper, so it'll still be a little bit cheaper compared to the other airports?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to thank you, and the team, for being proactive on this. We continue to grow. We talk about carriers, we talk about the expansion. Parking is a reality and stuff. So thanks for jumping on this in advance to welcome all our seasonal people back.
Would anyone like to move the item?
Move the item.
Okay. Motion to approve the item by Commissioner Pendergrass and a second by Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have anyone to speak a public comment about the Port Authority item? Seeing none, we will close public comment. Back to the board. Any further discussion? Seeing none, are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
We will now reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. Okay, administrative agenda. Mr. County Manager, please introduce item number 2 on the administrative agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is to authorize the annual merit increase for our county attorney.
Commissioners, do we have any questions for the staff?
No, I move the item with a 6% increase.
I'll second.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. I will call for public comment on the item. Does anyone wish to speak on the item? Seeing none, we will come back to the board. Any questions?
I just want to recognize the county attorney, his office, for his leadership. His office provides, just like our county manager does, provides amazing service to our community and to the Board of County Commissioners, which we are the client of. So, Richard, thank you for all these years of service, protecting the county and protecting the Board of County Commissioners and keeping us out of litigation. I really appreciate all your work, and nice tie, by the way, too.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You and Dave, too, both.
Thank you for your comments and for the motion.
I'd also, we focus on the individual in this issue here, but I think it's not only you and your work, but your team. And thank you for the team that helps all of us look better than we are. Thank you.
Yeah,
You make me look very good.
I think we all feel the same. You guys have a great team, and you really keep us on track. So we're very, very, very proud of what you guys do.
Thank you.
So, Commissioners, Commissioner Pendergrass had a motion, second by Commissioner Greenwell. At this time, any objections? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. You good?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, board members.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Harner, please introduce item number 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is to adopt the 2024 state legislative agenda, and I'd like to ask Mr. Sire to present the item.
Commissioners, adopting the agenda establishes your legislative priorities, which will guide our advocacy efforts for the upcoming 2024 state legislative session. It starts in January this year. As you would imagine, our priorities focus on hurricane recovery and resilience, everything from asking for an extension on the terms of our emergency bridge loan to funding ongoing unmet recovery needs, as well as some resiliency projects that will help us mitigate future events. And then finally, we do have a few non-hurricane related requests, as we always do, and there are a number of policy positions that the board has taken over time. I will close by saying that this platform tends to be amended as we go through session. For instance, you will consider an item at the special meeting you just set that could impact and amend the agenda. So, but after adopted, we will forward it to the legislative delegation for consideration at their hearing on October 30th. Thank you.
Hey, Commissioners, do we have, anyone have any questions for staff? I will call for public comment. Does anyone want to speak on this item? Seeing none, we will come back to the board. Any questions? No questions, seeing none, so we have a motion. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll move the item.
Okay, we have a Commissioner Pendergrass moves the item. We have a second from Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion, commissioners? Okay. If there's no discussion, are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. Mr. Harner, please introduce item number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is to award a construction contract for Littleton Road widening, and I'd like to ask Mr. Searchy to present the item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Administrative item number 4 is to award a low bid contract to Wright Construction for the widening of Littleton Road in the amount of $20,378,276. As you know, this is the second phase of the Kismet-Littleton widening project. This will 3-lane Littleton from the roundabout at Corbett to US 41. The work should begin in January 24 and take 18 months to complete. As we move from the west to the east, you can see that the project also includes 12-foot center turn lane, 2 11-foot drive lanes, 4-foot on-road shoulders, and 6 to 8-foot sidewalks on both sides.
I will call for public comment. Does anyone wish to speak on the item? Okay,
I do, Mr.
Okay, Mr. Ballard, come on up.
County Commissioner. Yes, sir. My name is Danny Ballard, and I do live on Littleton, and I've been a big proponent of this. The only question that I have, I've seen in about 4 or 5 different versions of the final project, and this says we're going to widen from a 2-lane undivided to a 3-lane undivided. My only comment, I hope that is wrong, because one of the things did have islands in there, kind of like what the picture depicted. If you make that 3 lanes undivided, you have created a racetrack. It is horrendous now with the school traffic. Fox News was out there and did an article. The Sheriff's Department's out there. We got dump trucks that cross a double yellow line to go the wrong way when traffic is backed up. I saw a dump truck push a car off of the road last week to avoid a head-on collision. If you just open it up for a 3rd lane wide open, I think the fire departments and the Sheriff's Department and Lee County EMS are going to have their hands full. But thank you, Randy. Thank you for pushing for this. It's been long needed.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Anyone else wish to speak on the item? Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff?
Randy, you want to respond to any of the comments from the public about the extra lanes?
Yeah, we are going to build a short eastbound right turn lane onto Hutto Road where Little Elementary is, and we're building a fairly long turn lane onto Little Elementary as well, just east of there. The issue, like a lot of the schools getting fired up the first part of the year, is the internal circulation. The school, we're working with them as well.
And that's something we're seeing. We don't, but somebody knows, we don't see the visualization behind us right now. It's sort of hard for me to see the whole picture, but I just know throughout the county, this is a problem with schools anywhere in the community as far as traffic pickup and load time. But our main objective here is increasing the efficiency in the roads. There is pedestrian safety measures in place for here. So people's actions based upon the road construction, really, you can't build roads for stupidity. It's unfortunate, but people are going to violate the law, and there's speed limits in place, there's new U-turns, there's red lights in place for a reason, but people are still going to violate those. We're also trying to make it more efficient. People move from point A to point B as fast as possible, or even some of the counties, I'm actually looking at increasing speed limits so we can move traffic faster through the community in a safe manner. There is pedestrian safety measures in place already where pedestrians should be off the roadway in the first place. So thank you for giving us a summary of that.
Thank you.
I move the item.
Okay. Second. At this time, we have a motion from Commissioner Pendergrass and a second from Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion, commissioners? At this time, we have any objections? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. Mr. Harner, please introduce item number 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Items number 5 through 9 fall under the hurricane recovery items. Number 5 being to approve the sole source change order for additional Excella licenses. I'd like to ask Mr. Moore to present that item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item number 5 approves a change order adding 30 Excella software user licenses. Excella is a software used by community development for permitting. The cost for the additional license is $122,435.59. These licenses are needed for additional positions approved by the board on August 1st, 2023, and contracted employees who are working to assist with the current increased permitting demand.
Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff? Okay, at this time, I will call for public comment. Does anyone wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, we will come back to the board. Any questions?
Move the item.
Okay. A motion to approve the item by Commissioner Pendergrass and a second by Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion, Commissioners? Okay. Is there no further discussion? Are there any objections? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Okay. Mr. Horner, please introduce item number 6.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will be bringing item number 6 and 7 forward together. The first, award a contract for individual housing programs, management and implementation, CDBGDR, and also award a contract. Item number 7 is to award a contract for CDBGR staff augmentation and implementation assistance. I'd like to ask Mr. Sire to present both of those items.
Thank you. Commissioners, these are both staff augmentation contractors for the county so that we can implement the CDBGDR program. As you know, the action plan is with HUD, the proposed action plan, I should say, is with HUD right now being evaluated. As a general timeline for your information, we are pushing hard to try to get a grant agreement in place before that impending mid-November date that the federal government could shut down. Not sure if we'll get there. That's a little bit out of our control, but that is what we are trying to do. In the meantime, we are working with both of these vendors to establish all of the policies and procedures that are needed for each of those programs, working on all of the software platforms that we need to manage them, staffing up for case managers. They will be going through procurements to bring general contractors on board. The list goes on and on. So starting with number 6, this is Horn LLP. They will be running all of the individual housing programs for us, and they will be using lots of local trades. So we are bringing vendors who are national experts in CDBGDR, but I do want to point out that both will be hiring locally wherever they can, training up local people to help us run these programs. So if we can start with number 6 and take a motion on that one, please.
Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff on item number 6? I will call for public comment. Does anyone wish to speak on item number 6? Seeing none, we will come back to the board. Any questions?
Move the item.
I'll second. Motion to approve the item by Commissioner Pendergrass, second by Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion, Commissioners? If no discussion, we are, do we have any objections? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Mr. Horner, please introduce item number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This item is to award a construction contract for Matt Lachey Fishing. I apologize. It was I jumped again.
Commissioners, this is the second part of what we previously talked about. This is HGA LLC. This is the umbrella staff augmentation vendor who will help us with all of the programs outside of the individual housing projects. I do want to point out that each of these vendors will be managed through approved task orders that will come back to the board each time we negotiate new duties for the vendors. Thank you.
Any questions for staff at this time? Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff? So I will call for public comment. Does anyone want to speak on item number 7? Mr. Schottenmiller, please come up to the podium.
I just heard on the affordable housing, the task force, I'd like to be involved as much as I can because we do need housing emergency. So if there's some way that we can get some funds, please let me know because it's getting cold out there and we need people off the streets and we need lives changed, you know? So working together, we can make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, commissioners?
No, move the item.
Second, okay. Commissioner Pendergrass moves the item, second by Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion, commissioners? Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion carries unanimously. Mr. Harner, please introduce item number 8.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the award of construction contract for Matlacha Fishing Pier repair, and I'd like to ask Mr. Ehab Gurgis to present the item.
Good morning, Ehab Gurgis Construction Management. This item is to approve a contract with Infinite Construction LLC in the amount of $388,219. This contract to repair Matlacha Fishing Pier that was damaged during Hurricane Ian. The construction will include the deck and railing replacement, the benches and garbage cans and fishing cleaning station replacement, and providing new light pools. We are planning to issue notice to proceed to the contractor mid-December, and that will give the contractor about 2 months to secure material and permits. Construction will take about 4 months, so we are expecting to open the fishing pier to the public by May 1st, 2024.
At this time, commissioners, do we have any questions for staff? Okay, I will call for public comment. Does anyone want to speak on item number 8? Please state your name.
My name's Gary Shallow, 35-year resident, Matlacha, Pine Island, and a commercial fisherman who fishes right out of there. The only request I would like to make is you guys make sure you take care of the homeless people who are still waiting on FEMA before you spend $388,000 on a pier. That's my only request. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak on item number 8? Okay. I lost my plane.
Chairman, I'll move the item and I'll have some discussions. Can I have a question for you? Just so everybody understands, I totally thank you, sir, for coming forward. Thank you for bringing your family down here today. This won't affect any type of, when FEMA, that's a housing issue. This is the pier. Those 2 separate funds, those 2 separate construction contracts. That does not affect any of the home as far as homes for FEMA, correct?
Correct. This funding for these repairs is coming from the FEMA.
And that's the challenge we've had this year. A lot of people, obviously, we've been talking about this for the last year, either getting baseball fields lights back up, or we still have people homeless from the shelter, from the storm, or people been devastated. So there's more than 2 different pots of money there. And so these are different projects, move 4 different times, to move in different directions. So we're trying to get everything moving in the same direction. So we still have a pier to build at the beach, but we're still having to do this. Project will not affect the FEMA because that's a federal assistance program we have no involvement with. Okay,
That's
thank you.
correct, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Pendergrass moved the item. Do we have a second? We have a second by Commissioner Sandelli. Is there any discussion? Yes, sir, Mr.
My
Sandelli.
only comment is, and I think it was well taken about different pots of money, we've dedicated some internal resources to help bring some clarity to the various pots of money and sometimes the attachments that go with that. So I want to thank the staff for that.
Okay. Do we have any objections to the motion? Seeing none, the motion carries unanimously. Mr. Harner, please introduce item number 9.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the award of contract for natural resources monitoring systems replacement equipment. I'd like to ask Mr. Ottolini to present the item.
Good morning, Commissioners. Roland Ottolini, Natural Resources. This is a contract to award to High Sites in nearly $119,000 to replace 14 monitoring stations that we have throughout Lee County that were destroyed during Hurricane Ian. We have over 200 gauge sites out throughout the county that helps us predict storm response before event, either surface water, rainfall, or groundwater elevation. So it's very important for us, not only during the storm, but afterwards, and also to calibrate a lot of our computer models that plan for these types of events.
Commissioner, do we have any questions for staff?
All right.
Move the item.
All right. I will call for public comment. Do we have any, anyone want to speak on item number 9? Seeing none, we will come back to the board. Any questions? Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Pendergrass. We have a second from Commissioner Sandelli. Any discussion, commissioners? Seeing no objection, so at this time, the item moves unanimously. Okay. There are no more public hearings on this agenda. Are there any walk-ons to or carryovers? No. You want to speak? Oh. I don't.
That's for public, that's coming.
So now?
No, that's at the end.
Huh?
That's at the end.
At the end,
Yes.
okay, right. Okay. There are no walk-ons and no carryovers. Moving on, Commissioner items. Commissioner Pendergrass, do you have any items?
Just my one earlier, thank you for the boards for recognizing that. We're obviously defer that to next week's special meeting, so thank you for your support of that. But I do have a couple of committee appointments when you get to that.
Okay. Commissioner Sandelli, do you have any questions? Okay. All right. Commissioner Pendergrass, do you have any committee appointments?
Yes, I have 3 reappointments. A reappointment of Stephen Jansen to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory, reappointment of Theodore Connor, Connor to reappointment of Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory, and Dave Wheaton, reappointment to the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory.
I'll second. You make a motion to move, and I'll second.
I got motions, second, okay.
All right. Commissioner Sandelli, do you have any committee appointments?
I do. For the Heritage Farms Operations and Maintenance, MSBU, Carrie Fought, Gary Gasparini, Nancy Terry, and Eric Stevenson, and Pete Kelly. And for the Conservation Land Acquisition Stewardship, Shane Spring.
Do I have a motion? Do we ask for public comment now? Any public comment on that? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Motion.
I'll second the motion. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, the motion and the upcoming vote will be as to both Commissioner Pendergrass's and Commissioner Sandelli's appointments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just need a vote at this time.
All right.
Thank you.
I have no appointments. Mr. Harner, I see you have one county manager item.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, if we could just have a vote on the appointments, please.
Okay.
You have a motion and a second, just have to call for the vote.
Okay. Do we have a vote for
Anyone in opposition?
anyone in opposition? Anyone object? Nope. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, sir.
Both motion. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. Mr. Harner, I see you have I see you have one item. County Manager, please introduce the item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'd like to provide you a Civic Center update, and I'd like to ask Ms. Brady to present that item.
Good morning, Commissioners. During your April 18th board meeting, you provided direction to staff related to the Lee Civic Center complex. Among the items outlined then, the direction included to develop a transition plan for staff to take over the management of the Civic Center property at the expiration of the agreement at the end of September, and to discuss with the Fair Board terms and conditions for the management of the February 2024 annual fair as set forth in the expiring agreement. Your direction maintained the board's continuing commitment to ensure that the 4-H youth program and the 2024 annual fair would remain as priorities. Since this date, the staff has worked on the transfer of the day-to-day management and functions of this property to our Parks and Recreation team. The team has applied our existing fee structure for the use of park and recreation facilities to the Civic Center to ensure that it is equitable and consistent. Staff has shadowed the Fair Board at various events, contacted the various vendors who have ongoing commitments at the property, and just recently ran a successful senior expo this past weekend. Our team has also held meetings with our University of 4-H partners to understand what the ongoing needs are for the youth program to thrive and be successful. Based on these conversations and the fact that as of September 30th, the Fair Board has removed the livestock pens, scales, and bleachers, we will need to procure additional equipment for the 4-H program that will be dedicated solely to that youth program. This practice is consistent with other youth programs that you support through the Parks and Recreation Department. Current negotiations with the Fair Board have reached an impasse because the Fair Board is asking for items that do not meet the board's direction. We cannot make a recommendation to continue with the current negotiations with the Fair Board that do not meet the direction that the Board has previously provided and does not allow flexibility for decisions that the Board will be making regarding the long-term future of that property. With that in mind, we had a preliminary conversation with the third-party fair show vendor, and they have agreed to work with our team for the annual 2024 fair in February. Today, we are looking for the Board to provide direction to staff to continue to work with our 4-H partners to prepare an agenda item that will identify the cost of the equipment that is needed to maintain the 4-H youth activities, and to direct staff to negotiate with the fair show vendor for Lee County to host the 2024 annual Southwest Florida and Lee County Fair, and to prepare an agenda item once terms and conditions have been determined. We appreciate your consideration, and staff remains available for questions. Thank you.
At this time, do I ask, Mr. County Attorney, at this time, do I ask for a motion
Yes, sir.
for that? Okay. Does anyone would like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Anyone want to second the item?
I had a couple of questions. Christine, I was following, so are you saying we're going to be putting on the fair, the county, as far as your staff goes?
The staff, the Lee County Board of County Commissioners, through their staff, would host the fair.
So as far as security setup, ticket booths, what employees are going to be doing that? I mean, I know the sheriff's department usually contract for details, but who would be saying, tickets?
We would be working.
I don't know who operates the fairs. I mean, I don't know who, there's employees of the Fair Board did that before, or did the fair people bring their own employees in for that?
We would be using with the fair show vendor just to handle that, and we would work through our normal special event permit process that we do all the time at our other properties that we have here.
Okay, just asking, because we've never done this before, so I'm just asking, I go there for elephant ears and candy apples, so I don't know who's at the counter, if there's people at the booths, the ticket gave, there's employees of the Fair Board, if there's people at the fair. That's why I was just concerned, because we've never done it before.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair?
Yes, please, Mr.
Commissioner, based on your question, we would work with the vendor. The vendor has opportunities to do certain components of the fair, but I just want to remind the board that the county runs a number of events and has a number of event staff that typically run large special events. So we are prepared to run special events in conjunction with this vendor, if the board so decides to move that direction.
Okay, I just...
Commissioner Sondelli?
Well, when I looked at this, I broke it really into two parts. So when you talk about some of the vendors and so on and so forth, that's what they do, and that's not something that we're going to do. So I look at it as the operational side. If you go back to what we ran into with the pandemic and what we ran into with the hurricane, our staff, and follow on, with some of the other issues, our staff, we have the people, the expertise, and integrates. So I think we're certainly capable of doing this, splitting the operations, monitoring everything.
Okay, we have a motion to move the item from Commissioner Sandelli. Do we have a second?
I would yield to the district commissioner, because I've really been not really involved with this.
I'll second the item.
Can we have discussion now?
Yep, and we can open for
So
discussion.
for time-wise, this is October, going on November. When's the fair? I'm not sure. Is that February or March? I'm not
The
sure.
fair is scheduled for February.
So we have time for that? I don't know. So I don't know how long it takes to put something like
In
this on.
speaking with the fair vendor that actually manages the show, he said it is possible and that we would schedule a meeting with him later on to discuss the details.
And sooner than that, I think we have a gun show probably scheduled in December, I'm thinking. Probably because it's every 2-3 months. They
Yes,
just had
sir.
one.
Yes, sir. And staff has been working with that vendor to make sure that the property is prepared and will meet their needs for that gun show in December.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. So you've already been working with that vendor?
Yes,
And
sir.
how about the actual fair vendor? You say fair vendor, is this one company?
That's who we just recently had a conversation with.
Okay. And that would take place as a contract then between the county and that group?
We would have to work through those procurement details, but yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just asked them because didn't.
At this time, I'd like to recognize County Attorney.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, just to perhaps frame the issue, as the board members will recall, You directed staff to do a number of things with regard to this issue. The first thing was ensure that 4-H interests are protected throughout. The second was to make sure that Lee County experienced the 2024 fair. Against that backdrop, we have to acknowledge that the existing agreement between Lee County and the Fair Association expired September 30th of this year. The board directed that we negotiate with the Fair Association for the conduct of the 24 fair. We put that board direction to the appropriate fair officials. Their response was a request for a 6-year extension. We indicated to those officials from the Fair Association that we didn't, as your staff, have the authority to negotiate a 6-year agreement, as that was contrary to the board's direction. I believe what's driving the issue today is the timeliness factor with regard to certain 4-H activities that need to take place in order to make the 24 fair successful from a 4-H standpoint. So it's that backdrop that's driving the item today, and the request of staff and the motion that was framed by Commissioner Sandelli and seconded by yourself. Thank you.
Do I need to, Mr. County Attorney, do I need to have public comment at this time? Okay, I'll ask anyone who would like to speak on public comment.
I have one question, Steph. Dave, I'm sorry, I have one more question. Will the fair, the activity of the fair cost Lee County taxpayers any funds from a taxpayer standpoint? Will we, after next year, say this costs Lee County this much money to put on the fair, or will it be a revenue generator? Will we come out neutral, not as to make money, but will it cost us money as taxpayers?
And initially, it will cost money to put the money up front to run the event, but the revenue that we receive from the fair would offset any of those costs.
Do you have any estimates how much it would cost the taxpayers, Lee County? And then we have that, where would that come out of our budget, from the general fund?
Yes, we would have to have initial cost for the equipment that we're talking about, which would come out of the general fund. We believe, specifically under Parks and Recreation, we have that money to be able to do, and we will have the revenue generated from the event itself coming back into the general fund.
So, yeah, initially I think it was 2 requests. One, replacing the equipment for the 4-H, so we can have the 4-H events, which is really obviously needed, and we're going to have that no matter what. But, so there's 2 costs there. You have that and the cost of the operating the fair. But if there's revenue coming in from the fair itself, then that should be offset the cost.
Correct.
Correct, wouldn't it?
Correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, just wanted to.
Okay, please state your name and have your comments.
Mike Peak, President of the Board of Directors, Southwest Florida and Lee County Fair. Commissioners, we ask you today to table this motion. You're going to cost the taxpayers of Lee County a lot of money that doesn't need to happen. We can work out our impasse, as it's called, with the staff. We would ask you to direct the staff or a designee or designees for the staff to give them some more latitude on working out an agreement with the Fair Association. We're in a position, we're equipped, we are the professionals, we know the game. We can bring a great fair, as we always do. We've had a great relationship with the county, proceeds many, many years beyond this point that we're at right now, and we can continue on and have a professional relationship as we've had in the past. We ask you to consider this today. Give us an opportunity. We can work this out. We can keep our philanthropy going. We don't want to lose that. The community doesn't want to lose that. And designate your staff to give them some more latitude, and let's sit down and we can work this out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. All right, anyone else want to speak on this item?
Chairman, I'm not sure. I'd like to speak about the Civic Center, but not necessarily the fair. So is this a fair germane item only or a Civic Center item?
Mr. Hunter, please.
Yes, this is related to the fair.
Okay, I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. Anyone else want to speak at this time?
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Knaefel, I'm a member of the Fair Board. Excuse my voice, I was in Nashville last weekend. I just want to be clear because it sounds like we took our ball and went home because we didn't like the way that the game was being played. We actually removed the items because we got a letter that said we were to get everything that we owned off the property. So we own the bleachers and the pens and everything else. We bought them over the years. So we moved them to our property next door. There's no intent to deprive 4-H of the use of things, et cetera. So I just want to be very clear on that. I think the other item that we would like to negotiate is, and I won't get into the details, but the request from the county for how much of the proceeds from the fair that the county wants. Keeping in mind that I'll make the same amount of money off the fair whether you take $1 or all of the money, because I'm a volunteer, I don't get paid. So none of the fair board does. So if you take a percentage of what we earn at the fair, that's taking it from scholarship funds, for the things that we do with 4-H, for the things that we do with the community, et cetera. It's not taking it from the fair board, because we turn around and make sure that if a livestock buyer doesn't come through and pay, we buy the animal so that the kid that raised it still gets their money. So as our president said, you know, we're just asking for a chance to work this out. We are not trying to be difficult, and I just wanted to clarify that. So thank you very much for your time.
Okay, would anyone else like to speak on this item at this time? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Sandelli, a second by Commissioner Greenwell, myself. At this time, do we have any, I'd like to take a vote. Do we have any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes unanimously.
Can I ask the county manager one question?
Yes, please.
When are we planning on having a workshop for the future? So we actually, I feel like today we've been more comfortable having a plan. If we had a drawing of what we're going to build in the future, what it looks like 2-3 years from now, I would love to see that. When are we going to have that workshop so we know what we're going to build there and what it's going to look like? Because what I've been saying the last few years has been pretty consistent. I just want to love to see it built from the ground up. Rebuilt the whole 100 acres and have a great 4-H center and a great rodeo area and a great civic center to have venues at and concerts and county events at. It'd be great to have a place that we could go to every day and use those facilities, use the bleachers and use the facility. So when the workshop and what timeline do you think we'll actually see something like that coming forward once we give direction on that?
Chair?
Yes, Mr. County Manager.
Commissioner, our plan will be to come in the first, following the first board meeting in December. We have now completed the public meeting with the community. We've also completed the survey, so we are ready to come forward. Our plan would be in December. The first board meeting in December, correct.
Okay, so then in December, you're looking for us to give some type of input of what we like to see, and we're going to have some scenarios, maybe options of what the 100 acres could be used for, as far as Parks and Rec, as far as the Civic Center.
Yes, that'd be correct, Commissioner. We will come up with some general ideas based on the survey that we provided to the community and the feedback we received. We'd also like to obviously get input from the board and again, public comment to the community, from the community regarding the ultimate plan for the facility. But it would be, our plan would be ultimately a recreational facility that's available to the community just like any other park.
Thank you, and I just want to say it because I think we all, and I think we heard that, obviously, Danny spoke at the podium because we weren't really sure, he wasn't really sure if this was fair about the Civic Center. I think if we show some stability here as far as having a plan to move forward, I think the community, I think we're here today because we obviously need to make a lot of changes there. We need to improve the area, and we didn't do it over the years. Now we're having to do that. We're having to rebuild and do something, you know, and after it's all done, then obviously it may be too big for the county to operate. We may have to look at another option like the county did 28 years ago with the Fair Board. But right now, I would say thank you for all the people that volunteered and kept make this facility, you know, a place to go to the last 50 years. But right now, we need to make a lot of changes there. And to do that, it's going to be a couple of years. Nobody will be able to use it in any capacity if we do the right thing there as far as rebuilding it. So, which is unfortunate because we have vendors like the gun shows and other RV shows and stuff there right now are waiting to know. They don't know day to day if they're going to be there. And that's what I'm hearing from the vendors, like the RV shows and the different groups, not-for-profits that use that. They want to know, can we still have our event there in March? Can we still go there in, you know, December? So that's why I'd like to be consistent and have a message so we know what we're going to do there. And when it comes to the budget, we're obviously going to look at that. We're going to say, there's so much it's going to cost. So what's important? Put the money back in the community. So hopefully our values keep coming back after the storm, but we still got a lot of rebuilding to go through Lee County. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I think
The other piece I have, I look at the county, I think most of us do holistically. Okay, we have the Kuiper Preserve, which is a fabulous piece of property for those who put that together. And you can only do certain things within the preserve. And now we have Parks and Rec, talking about the Civic Center in that area. When you think about those two parcels and what they combine, you know, serving different constituencies, in some cases, for the county, those are critical, I think, you know, for where we're going as a community. They'll be used a little bit differently, but they're great pieces. So let's think in terms of holistically and not just getting hung up on minor.
I thank you, Commissioner Sandelli. I'd also like to say, you know, we have a great opportunity there. I'm looking forward in the future of what staff brings us and what the options will be in the future, because we have a wonderful piece of property there, and there's going to be something wonderful for our community, I believe, that will be built there. So we're looking forward to those options and looking forward to the workshop so we can continue to move forward. At this time, Mr. County Manager, do you have any other items?
No, Mr. Chair, we do not.
Okay. So at this time, I'd like to refer to Mr. Welch. Do you have any county attorney items?
Mr. Chairman, no items for board action. Just referencing back to administrative item number 2, I would just like to thank the board for their words during that motion, that discussion, and like to convey my appreciation for the leadership that you have shown and the support you have shown to our office. It is absolutely a team aspect within our office, and I wasn't joking when I said my coworkers make me look good. That is absolutely the truth. Not something that Mr. Clark needs to agree with so readily, but I'd also like to thank county administration, both past and present, for the relationship we have with his team and his employees, because we are truly one organization, and closing in on 10 years, it's been my privilege to serve. I look forward to the future, so thank you.
Michael, you put the signs down now. So.
I tell my wife to go home?
Pick me, pick me.
Thank you.
Nothing. Have any other items?
No, sir.
So at this time, that concludes county commissioner items. Moving to public presentation and matters by citizens. So I have Mary O'Bannon will be first speaker. Come on up.
Good morning, gentlemen. Please forgive me for today for reading my presentation. The hurricane destroyed our house 14 months ago almost, and we've moved 10 times, and today will be our 10th time. So I wasn't really prepared to memorize everything I have to say today. So good morning, and I can't believe that I did look this up, it was 7 years, 10 months, and 16 days ago that former county manager Roger Desjardins, at the request of a commissioner, made the decision to improve and landscape the appearance of Gilchrist Avenue in Boca Grande after a 6+ year upheaval of parking versus no parking. I'm here today with our co-chair of the parking panel, Deb Martin, and the panel consists of 7 members. It was appointed by late Commissioner John Manning, and we represent a wide range of residents in our community. We govern ourselves by majority rule and with extensive input from our entire community. We had our first and only meeting with Commissioner Ruane in April of 2022, when I invited him to be a guest of Mr. and Mrs. Farish at the Gasparilla Inn, and then also to meet with our parking panel to discuss the challenges that we face as our community grows. It was brought to our attention this past week that Commissioner Ruane has a plan to present to you in November. It was a surprise to all of us in the parking panel, and a majority of the community were not aware of any of those recommendations. In the past 8.5 years, we have worked successfully with Lee County Attorney Michael Jacobs. We've consulted with Randy Searcy of Lee County DOT, and we look forward to working with Mac Young with Parks and Rec. In the past, we worked with Jesse Lavender, and we really did make a lot of progress, and we've been very successful. We also recognize that we still have a lot of problems to solve, not maybe one is hurricane related, but the rest is just, people coming, as you said, to the airport. You have to expand the airport parking. We just have a lot of people coming to Boca Grande. However, we respectfully request that we return to our original process. We would like to work with all commissioners and staff. We are asking you to vote to return to the full involvement of the board. We need everyone to buy into the changes that are proposed, not be surprised by the changes. If I'd like to read to you the final paragraph of our last meeting with Commissioner Ruane. These minutes were submitted and approved by Commissioner Ruane a year and a half ago. That was the last time we met with Commissioner Ruane, which was April of
Unfortunately, your time.
2022. Yes, sir, it's just one quick paragraph.
See what was talked about?
Yes. It just says, all of the above must be reviewed by Lee County Attorney's Office, Lee County staff, and then be presented to the Boca Grande Parking Panel in draft form. We will meet again and review the draft, and what we're comfortable with, we will then move towards implementation. Gentlemen, this did not happen. Please vote to include all of you in making any decisions for the Boca Grande Parking Panel moving forward. Thank you.
Okay, this time I'd like to call Sloan Mitchell. Please don't touch the mic, it's on.
Good morning, everyone. You have to excuse my appearance. I'm just going through a lot of changes right now. I'm not declaring anything that I haven't seen with my own two eyes with housing and also the jail situations, and I've seen housing people that's not doing anything actually get put into jail, and all the innocent ones are suffering, and in other places it's mass confusion because it's something that's written in Revelations that these things will come about, and that's what's happening. Everyone is at each other's throats, and they need to put an end to it. But I just like to say that with some kind of external or internal help, maybe everything can come together one day, and you know there has to be a stop and a turning point to all this. I've been out there for a while now, and I've seen everything. And if things do turn around, maybe someone, even a bum off the street, can change, and he'll say, "I love you twice as much tomorrow." Much more than I can say. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Mitchell, for your comments. This time I'd like to call Dr. Joseph Samson. Did I mispronounce that? Yeah. Hi, doctor.
How you doing? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Dr. Joseph Sansone. I'm a psychotherapist opposed to psychopathic authoritarianism, and I'm here again today to urge you to add the Bandajab ordinance that I proposed to you to the agenda for a future meeting. Well, first of all, you know, it's great to take a moment of silence for the people that were murdered in Israel. May I suggest at a future meeting we take a moment of silence for the people that were murdered by this biological weapon that's been foisted on us? These meet the legal criteria of biological weapons according to 18 U.S.C. 175, Chapter 10, Biological Weapons, Florida Statute 790.166. I've consulted with the world's leading legal authority on this, Dr. Francis Boyle. He wrote the 1989 Bioweapons and Anti-Terrorism Act. I would love to put the county attorney in touch with him so you can speak to him about the legality of this, because the idea that it's not, correct is just incorrect. Now, at the last meeting, the county attorney made a comment that myself, Dr. Sauer, and another speaker were politically motivated. I don't think any of you believe that, and that was inappropriate. I'd ask that that doesn't happen again. But we've got people dying of turbo cancers, they're getting heart attacks, they're getting strokes, little girls are dropping dead at their proms. This isn't normal. How many people need to be murdered before we do something? The attitude, it seems to be like it's not our job. So rhetorically, I'd like to ask the question, whose job is it to act when biological warfare is being conducted against us? Okay, and I disagree with the county attorney. It's not a redundant ordinance because the state government's not doing anything, the federal government's not doing anything, they've participated in it. The Surgeon General, Dr. Latipo, has advised against anybody getting these injections now. This isn't an unpopular opinion. It's becoming obvious as more people get sick and damaged. But I'm going to tell you right now, people are killing themselves because they're being gaslit by their doctors and the medical community. They're not being helped. We need to do the right thing here. This is the right thing. I'm giving you an opportunity to do what might be the most important thing in your life. Just do it. Again, I don't want to be here. It's not my job either. But whose job is it? How many people need to be murdered? It's going to get worse. People keep getting sick. The excess deaths will continue to go up. And so I'm asking, you can do it right now. Just put it on the agenda for a future meeting. Or we can work on the wording to make it better, whatever we have to do, but we have to act. This is biological warfare against your neighbors, your children, the people you love, because the unvaccinated are getting sick and dying from the shedding. The hydrogels are showing up in their blood. You know it because I provided you the evidence if you bothered to look at it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Doctor, for your comments. This time I'll call Joe Schottenmiller.
As always, it's been a good meeting. A lot of it's been said on the environment, and he is right. There is a lot of things going on that we need to do more research before it's put into people's bodies and stuff like that. But the thing is, we do need housing. I don't know how many times I have to say it. We do need the funding to help with it, and nobody asked for a handout. They said, so it would be paid back in time. So county, give a list of what they have. City, I know what city has some of it, and find out what they want, and we raise them, pay it, and we pay it back. So let's get some housing for people. People need to be treated humanly. Some have disabilities. I got brain damage, but hey, I got that after, not from Leon Spinks. I got it after meeting Leon Spinks from Nunchucks. Okay, so I'm serious when I say let's do a basketball tournament like with Matt Wallace. He's got a scholarship and raise money as a fundraiser. Getting in the ring with Leon Spinks in Red Man Armor. I've told the police that I would do that. You like the way I moved? That's 30 years ago. I still move pretty fast for an old man. Okay, so it's a way to raise money. So I'm serious when I say it. There's no excuse we don't have what we have. And Cecil, I thank you for what you did. I've seen George that you know. Dug up some plants he donated, and that said, say hi to you, so I'm saying hi from George and Sandy. But we all need to work together, you know? I know it costs money, but hey, nobody said the handout, we said it would go back in as we got it, you know? So let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schottenmiller, for your comments. At this time, I'll call Gary Shallow.
How are y'all today? Hey, this is my family sitting over here, my 5 children, my wife, Timothy David, 35-year resident, Pine Island, commercial fisherman, 15-year business owner in Lee County that was put out of business by Hurricane Ian. We sold bait shrimp on Fort Myers Beach in Sanibel and Captiva, okay? We evacuated the storm, a mandatory evacuation in our bus, and we were living in it for a year and a month up until last Thursday, when the Charlotte County Commissioners abated our property and smashed up our belongings and threw it in the dumpster. Now, I know this ain't Charlotte County and I know that ain't your problem, but I am a resident of this county and I had to go out there because we're on our 3rd appeal by FEMA, okay? If the government can't help you with the social programs that you spend 30 years of I paid taxes for 30 years on them programs and in January I paid my taxes again and then filed my 2nd appeal. Okay, I understand it's a lengthy process, but if a man can't get help that way, he has to take matter into his own hands and go onto his own property to do what he has to do because he's been denied by all the government assistance that he's entitled to because he pays taxes, okay? Now, we're still working. We ain't sat around a year waiting for a handout. We're trying to put our life back together on a piece of land that we own now. It was in Charlotte County, okay? Now, what am I supposed to do if the government can't provide us the assistance that they say, and now they won't let me do it for our own? We spend our own money on our own property, taking care of our own children, okay? It was a mandatory evacuation. This place was nuts right after the storm. There wasn't immediate help for us. We got bounced around to everywhere you can think of, and I'd like to ask all of you, and you too, how many people in Lee County are still homeless because FEMA denied them? Can anybody give me that number? Because I already know nobody in here can, because I've asked at every level of government you can, and they said it's almost impossible to tell. And the reason why that's important is because y'all can't make those kind of decisions on the homeless people around here if you can't put an exact number on how many and who. Who are they? They're Lee County students. I graduated Mariner High School in 1997. My 2 adult children graduated Island Coast High School. We're residents of here. And not only that, but we're American taxpayers. So, and I didn't come here I'm not here to be down on you guys at all, because I appreciate everything you've done. But we're here mainly just to remind you all that you still got people here that need your help. And please help them before you go on vacation. Please. Please help them before you spend any money on a pier or anything else that is less precious than human life. Okay? That's all I'm asking you guys. Don't forget us. Mr. Pendergrass, I've been in contact with you through the years over water quality and stuff like that. We've communicated with each other in emails, okay? For green algae and red tide through the years we have, okay? But I tried contacting you on Facebook and put a big lengthy post on there telling you what was going on with us. And when I hit send, whoever was in charge of the page said, this is a election or a candidate page or a re-election page. You might want to try to get a hold of them at blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, I said, can you pass the message on to him? And they didn't. So you also got stuff like that on the internet where people are trying to get help from you, but it's kind of set up for something else and they don't know because they're living in a bus. So I know that's the end of my time. Thank you guys for your time. I ask and I please would from the bottom of my heart and from my children's heart that you look in to see how many people you still have living in your county that's homeless because FEMA denied them.
All right, Mr. Callow, thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Okay, does anyone else want to speak in public comment that did not provide a comment card?
Cerebral palsy and congenital heart failure is 15 years old.
Sorry, if I could, Chairman, Gary?
Hey.
Gary, if I could, before your family, thank you for being here today. I just wanted to say, you don't have to come to the podium. I was going to say, we have staff here in the room that deals with housing, and thank you for trying to contact us. We're not allowed to use social media outside the government work for government work. It's against the law for us to do that.
You're trying to be reelected. I'm one of them. So
I'm not. So anyway, that's the.
So are you, Mr. Chairman.
No dialogue back, please. But anyway, there's staff here that can help you and your family here in the back of Roger. Maybe you could talk to Gary. Roger Mercado is in housing, so we're just trying to.
Contact with them Friday after they made us homeless in Charlotte.
Okay, thank you. Okay. But anyway,
Okay,
we're trying to
again,
provide, there is staff that can assist him with his FEMA issues that is outside of work. But
yeah.
I'm glad he pointed out we don't use a public or private.
Anybody else in the county, all it would take you is to get on the news and say something instead of letting them report people fighting over chickens. Get on there and fight for us. Say something.
Okay. Never mind.
Again, I'll ask, does anyone want to speak in public comment that did not provide a comment card? Mr. Ballard.
Yes, sir. Cecil, I did hook him up with Roger, so that should be taken care of. Anyhow, a little bit of disheartening, a little bit of concern. And Commissioner Greenwell, I know I talked to you early in June about that we would like to, the Norfolk Myers Civic Association, would like to rent the Civic Center in December or so to have a pickleball tournament. You said, well, we couldn't do nothing until the 1st of October when you took over. I was also told that by numerous other entities, and I talked to County Manager Harner, Mark Mora, same thing. When we made the phone call in October, they said, well, it's already booked out until April. Well, how can it be booked out? You just took it over. Well, it's being booked. And nobody along the way told me. That's the reason I'm a little disappointed that numerous county people, and at that time, I do think that Jesse still had control of Parks and Recs. But anyhow, I wish just somebody had said, hey, you need to get your name online right now. Things are happening. Didn't happen. The earliest that we could get to do anything inside is April. We sure wanted to do something in 23 to be able to fill up our coffers because it was going to be a fundraising event for the North Lamar Civic. So that was my only comment. Just a little disappointed. Hey, we can roll with the flow. We'll do it in April, but a little better communication might have been nice. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ballard, thank you.
Did you have another card? Oh, I just want to say real quick, thank you. Mary Albana spoke earlier from Boca Grande. Thank you for coming to the meeting today. I don't know if you thought that was on the agenda today, because I saw Commissioner Wayne's email for the future meeting sometime in November. So thank you for making the drive from Boca Grande, for being here for that. So you and the other co-chair of the committee for coming up here. And I guess something we can address, I guess, when we brings up, what meeting is that going to be for? I don't have his agenda item for the commissioner item that for November.
It's the
4th.
first meeting in November.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner, have anything? Okay, I see no one else for public comment. There's no workshop this afternoon. If there's no further business before us, we are adjourned.